Welcome everyone to another episode of Deliberating the Dead. I am Matt.
And I'm Naive Kyle.
Naive Kyle. Why are you so naive, Kyle?
We'll get into it.
So we just finished watching the season 9 mid-season finale of The Walking Dead Lucian. I'm interested to see and hear your opinions on tonight's episode, Kyle.
I thought it was really good. It was one of the episodes that we've deserved to have, that we haven't had in a while, that we finally get to have. A lot actually has happened this episode. This was a very jam-packed episode.
I didn't feel like a lot happened. I don't feel like a lot happened to the last 5 minutes of the episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Shoot. Negan got let out. Good for him. Fuck it.
Yeah, father
the pressure from Henry is it built up, and he was trying to fit in, and he kind of fucked up. Rick and Aaron and Daryl and Aaron and Jesus, they got to see fucking, like, the whole episode. They were really got to experience what, the new walkers, the new evolved walkers are, which they're not, we knew they weren't, but going through this episode, they were actually having, they seen everything that they knew and learned was fucking kind of thrown out the window for them this episode. I mean, there's a lot all the way up until the last 5 minutes. There was always something changing and kind of going different with this episode.
Mm-hmm. So what I feared and what we talked about last episode, I kind of feel is coming to fruition, that this is almost moving too quickly now. And like it almost feels like there's no rhyme or reason yet to what they're doing. I
think there's a lot of rhyme and reason what they're doing.
I kind of feel like everything's thrown in. I kind of feel like they're changing things just to change them now. Like the Henry Carl thing, that's fine. Carl died last season. You have to fill that slot because Carl was such a pivotal role in this storyline. But now, fill that slot. You gotta have it's a pivotal storyline, and you gotta kind of have someone there to fill those shoes, and that's what they're doing with Henry. But I would rather see, Carl, and instead of that whole scene where Henry's becoming buddy with some of the people from Hilltop, and they go to their secret club out in the woods, and they're drinking liquor, and they have this zombie that they're throwing darts at in a hole, and Henry jumps down there and kills it. And okay, I would rather them go to the Carl storyline where he throws the rocket, or he beats the hell out of the kid and throws a rock at him.
It looks like that's not going to happen. Looks like they're taking that out.
It's the problem with the Carl in the comic book and where they're going to storyline right now is Henry isn't that established. Henry isn't established as being that badass of a person yet. They've built Carl up to the role he's in over the comic books, and it makes sense for him to do the things he's doing. And I kind of don't quite understand the Henry character and what they're doing and why he's doing the things he's doing. Maybe that's just me not paying attention. I mean, I really don't understand. I don't feel that right now where it's at, the Henry character is strong enough, or you care about enough to pull this storyline off.
I think that's why they're giving him a little bit of a build-up. I think, I think the whole thing with him going out there was the weight of the weight of his shoulders is kind of caught up to him. And it looked like he just, it's like starting any new job at any new place. You're uncomfortable. You're trying to find somewhere to fit in. You're trying to find people to fit in with. And I think, and he's still a kid, and being able to hang out with other kids. And you know what? And once he hung out with the kids, he learned that wasn't what he wanted. But he's still a kid. He still wants to do. Even Coral wanted to do kid things. You know what I mean? Like he had this role even in the comics, but he still kind of broke away to do, kind of what kids do. He gets out. You know what I mean? He wanted to be with somebody, and I think they just so they were giving you a little bit of Henry in that sense that he was still being a kid. Give him a little bit of airtime to show that he's kind of, he's got the weight of helping rebuild Kingdom on his shoulders right now. That's the reason why he's at Hilltop, is so that he can learn something to help. You know what I mean? He already gave up his first set of pay for nails and screws to go to Hilltop. I mean, Kingdom. So he's kind of got a weight to him. So I kind of see him just wanting to release and be a kid.
But they're doing it in a way that feels very familiar. It's callbacks to when the group first gets Alexandria, and it's callback to, he has a crush on Enid just like Carl did. It's a callback to him and Carl and Enid sneaking out into the woods and over the walls.
I mean, in Henry's defense, there's not that many teenage girls there, and he discovered another one, and he was on it like a fly on shit.
Yeah.
So I kind of give that a pass, because when you have limited options, you kind of hone in on what your options are. And before he knew that there was options, he had his mind set on something. And I think that's kind of what that was. That's all he really knew.
You kind of had, it was a lot of the Daryl, Aaron, and Jesus looking for Eugene and trying to deal with the herd, and the herd's acting strange where they're all mulling around, and Daryl leads them away with an alarm clock, and then Eugene, they find Eugene in a barn, and he says that they've come back 2 or 3 times looking for him already. And then Daryl tries to lead them away again with firecrackers, and they're not paying attention to him. They're being led in a different way, and you kind of hear the whisperers a little bit communicating throughout the entire episode.
I remember them being lit away with firecrackers.
Yeah, Daryl was on top of the roof, and he lit firecrackers and threw them. And the whisper, or the zombie horde, started to go towards him, and then recorrected back into the original course. So it led them to a cemetery, which I thought was really, really cool, with the fog, the fog situation, and they're fighting off zombies, and everything's going according to plan until Jesus gets stabbed. Jesus is fighting him off like a badass, and he goes to cut the last one, and it ducks his attack and turns around and pretty much stabs him in the back, and then whispers in his ear, "You are where you do not belong." And you see Jesus hit the ground, and I don't know, I felt like the first half of the season started, or the first few episodes of the first half of the season started off so quick, and then now they're trying to slow it down, and it felt like the pacing was way off. I don't know. I didn't really care for this episode.
I thought that I felt this episode was.
I really didn't care for it.
To me, this episode went in the blink of an eye. I agree with Andy when we were talking in our chat. Like, I was watching it, and all of a sudden I was like, "Fuck!" It's 7:55. I was pissed.
I think they used tactics. They used a lot of heavy, scary music, things like that. They used other tactics to cover up to cover up the weak storyline.
You think they used scary music to cover up the bad storyline?
A lot of they used a lot of suspenseful music. They used a lot of tactics to keep you engaged, to make you feel like things were progressing a lot faster than they actually were.
I didn't feel that at all.
I don't feel like this episode picked up until, like I said, the last 5 minutes of the episode, when everything started going down.
I like the episodes where they do a lot of bouncing around, though. I feel those episodes are better. because they hone in on somebody for a while. Then the only problem I found with this episode truly was I felt like there was like 20 times more commercials than like any other episode. It seemed like it went for like 2 minutes and there was a commercial. It went for like 2 minutes and there was a commercial. It seemed like there was more commercials than story.
Because I mean, really, here you had 3 basic plot lines. You had the Tara plot, or well, you had the Rosita plot line with all of them finding out that she was attacked and she's at Hilltop. Then you have the group looking for Eugene, and then you have the storyline going on between Father Gabriel and Negan.
And Henry got everything going on with Henry. There's 4.
Sorry, the Henry shit. So there's 4.
So there's over 4 storylines going on. I don't know. I just felt like it went well. I didn't feel like it was a bad storyline at all. I felt like it was doing a lot of pushing things forward. There was a lot of cool stuff going on. I think this whole season's been great for me. And this is one of the. I was actually pissed when I realized it was 7:55 because now I'm pissed because I have to wait all the way till February, and I haven't had that feeling in The Walking Dead for a long time. So I thought it was excellent.
I feel like they could have introduced the whole. I feel like Henry could be done a different way instead of going that stereotypical. Oh well, he falls in with this crowd that, they get him to drink and then he gets in trouble. It could have been like he meets that girl, or like they could have been picking on that girl and he meets him and he stands up to him and stops him, or something like that. Something that builds him a little bit more.
It still might happen.
Well, I don't know, because they're giving him the same issue. Really, it's like, oh, he's a drinker, and then all of a sudden the guy with the drinking problem comes out of nowhere to
his boss.
Yeah. You're like, I thought you were too tired to help me today. Isn't that what you said? You were too tired from the trip. And it's like I felt like the best.
He was calling him out for being a fucking liar.
The only time I was really like, fuck yes, was the last 5 minutes. Without that last 5 minutes, I'd have been like, okay. The last 5 minutes had me pumped for February. But other than that, I don't know. I just did not really care for this episode.
I thought it was good. Negan walked out.
Yeah.
Fucking Henry's fucking, being a kid. Fucking they introduced the Whisperers. Jesus dies. I mean, there was a lot happening this episode. I liked it. I thought it was really good.
I mean, I think that there was some good conversation there between Negan and Gabriel. I still personally think that the Gabriel Rosita storyline is kind of butt.
I do too,
and I think that they hinted that there's more to it when, in the comic, Eugene and Rosita are together, and I know the show does different things in the comic, but Eugene cheats on her with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So now is it going to be that, Gabriel is kind of taking Eugene's storyline and Eugene's going to be the other guy that Rosita cheats on, and it's going to be Rosita that cheats on Gabriel with Eugene and she's pregnant with Eugene's baby? Is she even going to be, she probably won't even be pregnant in the show.
It wouldn't break my heart.
And with the way they're killing off characters this season,
everybody's going to be dead by the end of the season.
Right. Who's left to care about?
Michonne will be left.
Who's, if they don't do the head piking, it's a missed opportunity. Like, they took out so many main characters.
They have to, because they've already hinted at it, because they've already, part of when they were killing Jesus, I mean, that's pretty much what they were getting at. You're outside of your border. That's pretty much, and they've already showed that they're going to infiltrate the festival.
Yeah, they keep talking about the festival.
But I mean, if you looked at the preview, it showed them, it actually looked like it showed them going into Hilltop. It actually didn't, but you see who's coming next in February. So, I think every all that part is going to go exactly like the comics.
Yeah, you got a dope ass shot of Beta in the preview for the return in February.
And it looked like you had Alpha walking up to the gates.
Yeah, without her
mask on.
Mask on.
So it looks like she's either going to, It didn't look like Kingdom though. It looked like Hilltop to me. I'll have to see it. I'll have to watch it again.
It looks like they had her daughter Lilith, or no, is it Lilith? Lydia. They had Lydia in the jail cell already in the previews. So, I mean, things are moving quick. I think a lot of what makes this season feel like it's moving so quick is that there's been 2 time jumps already. You had 2 time jumps in the first.
I don't think that's what's making this season go quick. I think they've just paced this season very fast. We had like 3 very slow seasons of The Walking Dead. And I just think they've heard the outcry of their fans, and so I think they're just pacing things quicker.
I mean, I absolutely love what they're doing with the Whispers. I absolutely love the way they're introducing the Whispers. I absolutely love that they're slow playing bringing them in, that they didn't just rush to bring them in. You know, it's slow play them bringing them in, and they've kind of been there in the background, and now they're finally starting to show up. And I like the way they introduced them. Now, do I think Jesus is dead? I don't know. I don't think so, because the show has been notorious for duping us. I mean, they did it with Glenn. And I know you said, well, on Walking Dead, he says he got the phone call. Okay. But he's not going to tell you that he's not dead. That would ruin the suspense. You know, it's just like the whole Glenn Dumpster thing all over again. They took his name out of the credits. They gave him a remembrance on I believe, no, did they give him a remembrance on Talking Dead? I think they did.
But he wasn't on it. He didn't come on after his death.
Most characters, when most cast members, when they die, they've cut their hair, they've shaved. Jesus is on Talking Dead, and he hasn't done that yet. Maybe, like you said, maybe he likes the long hair and he's going to keep it. I don't know. I mean, look at it this way. This season, you've already lost Rick. You've lost Jadis. You've lost Maggie. 2 main characters right there in Maggie and Rick gone. Now you're going to lose Jesus. Okay. Jesus still has pretty important storylines moving forward in the comic book.
Yeah, but so did Carl, and they didn't mind killing him off.
So did Carl.
We always say that about characters, and they always find a way to fill it in.
I think they haven't established, at least not that I can think of right now, they haven't established anyone to take that Jesus role. They kind of, once they killed Carl, they kind of spent all last season establishing Henry. Even before Carl died, they kind of started establishing Henry. So who are they trying to establish in that Jesus role? Is it trying to be the dude from the Saviors that's helping out the blacksmith? I don't know. So that means that Tara, well, clearly now Tara is going to be the leader of Hilltop if Jesus is dead.
Well, she has to be.
I don't know. Like,
I hope she dies.
I don't know, but yeah. So whose heads are they gonna take now? So I mean, as of the people they kill, who's left? So we know who gets piked. So as of the comic book, who gets piked? Who's still left in the show?
Ezekiel.
Tara, or not? Sorry, not Tara. Ezekiel. Rosita. So who are they going to kill then? Are they going to kill? Is it going to be Aaron, Rosita, Ezekiel? Like, we know that Daryl and you can pretty much guarantee that Daryl, Michonne, and Carol are safe because they've all. Well, I'm not sure if Michonne has yet, because I knew there was issues with her Marvel contract. But Daryl and Carol, the actors, have signed long-term deals. They're guaranteed another 3 years on the show. So we know they're not going anywhere.
I'm starting to look at The Walking Dead like a basketball team or a football team. So new players come in, you get used to them, and they slowly get plucked out and interchanged. And I think that's what we're going to start seeing on The Walking Dead.
Are they going to kill Eugene? Or are they going to kill Father Gabriel?
I think they're going to kill Eugene instead of Father Gabriel. And I think that's why they're giving Father Gabriel the Eugene storyline.
but and that irks me. Like those are changes that I don't feel should be made. Like I don't. Why are you changing people's storylines that are still alive?
because they can.
This is gonna be the second time they're gonna change the UG storyline. I think that's what makes the character. I kind of feel like the way they're handling Eugene on the show doesn't do the character in the comic justice.
I mean, maybe it's Robert Kirkman saying, I kind of thought about doing this before, but let's try this. I mean,
It's not Kirkman, it's Gimple. I think it's all Gimple. Gimple has the say so.
I bet you Robert Kirkman has more say in this than you think.
I think at this point, I mean, Robert Kirkman might just be there just to be like bounce ideas off of, you know? Or because he's a creator and it's his world being like, "No, this doesn't work, this works, this doesn't work."
I think it'd be kind of cool. You've created something, and now, like he said it before, how cool is it that he gets to take things where he wasn't sure about, or he thought a year later differently, that he has the opportunity to be a part of changing things that he was a part of originally. Like he wrote it one way, and he's like, "Well, we can totally do this," and I thought about this, but now we can totally do all this differently.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people actually get the opportunity to do that?
But at what point is that good though? That's just like George Lucas going back and changing Star Wars. All the changes they've made to Star Wars have been ass. Going back and doing the re-releases and going in and changing things like Darth Vader screaming no. And all the stupid shit he's changed. At what point does that become hurting the product?
I think by season 10 it will be. By season 10 we're going to feel the effects of the changes, not going to like it.
I think that they're doing a poll right now on Talking Dead on if Jesus should cut his hair, and people are saying no. So if Hardwick literally cuts his hair right now,
then it's done. Oh, you're a little bit ahead of me because I'm just now seeing the poll.
I don't know. I still don't know. Something inside of me.
There's the scissors.
Something inside of me says no. But when you see him get stabbed on the show, it doesn't look like it's that devastating.
Did he really cut his hair?
It doesn't look like it's that devastating, but when they replay it in his in memoriam, it looks more devastating.
Yeah. Because it wasn't like a little knife that stabbed him.
I was dead set. Like, no, he's not dead. They're just playing games. They're fucking trying to dupe you. He's not dead. There's no way they're going to kill him. Until I saw that. Then I'm like, I don't know. Part of me is screaming, don't believe it, don't believe it, don't believe it. Not because I want Jesus to stay, but because I think they're just trying to dupe us like they did with Glenn. But maybe they're not.
I don't think they are. I think they're done duping us that way.
But back to what I was saying, though. Robert Kirkman making changes has hurt things in the show. I think it hurt Negan's introduction. It hurt the death of Glenn because Glenn's death was so iconic in the comic books. It was an iconic moment in Walking Dead history. To see that, it's the first time you saw Negan bash anybody's fucking head in. And the fact that Abraham got it first in a comic is I kind of feel like it took the impactfulness of Glenn's death away. What made Glenn's death impactful for some reasons in the show is when you actually hear him screaming out for Maggie and not just reading
it. I think it's kind of cool that they're doing. I mean, if they stuck to the comics, you know what we'd be doing right now? We'd be bitching because they stuck to the comics.
No, and they don't have to stick. Like, I'm not saying they have to stick 100% to the comics, but there's iconic moments that I feel like they're missing.
But they've done this in season one though. They've taken iconic moments and they've changed them, and so I mean that's always what they've done.
Well, season one, really all it was is that they kept Shane alive. It wasn't until they killed, at least that I can remember, it wasn't really until they killed off Andrea so early in the show that you were like, oh fuck, like this changed drastically from the comic.
But they've always taken things and changed it. I mean, they've always done things a little bit differently. And in the comic they did this, but they did the same thing, but they substituted something else for it.
Right now, what is a more impactful way to, if you, as a viewer, what is a more impactful way for Jesus to die? Being stabbed by a whisperer, a random whisperer, or you see Michonne, Daryl, and Carol coming up to the border and his head's fucking on a pike?
I mean, his head would be better, but that's not what they did.
You're so cynical, Kyle.
I mean, yeah, that would be more impactful, but I mean, actually, this was pretty impactful. Him going out like this, just he's such a badass, and downplaying what was going on, because they didn't know, and him getting taken out by a whisperer was actually pretty fucking hardcore.
The one thing that tells me and makes me think he's not dead is the fact that the whisperer that stabbed him whispered, you don't belong. You're where you don't belong.
Which that goes to show that they're gonna put the boundary marker up.
So you would think delivering a message like that, the dude's got to still be alive to deliver it to him, right?
Maybe somebody else heard it.
How it was whispered in his ear.
I'm just saying. I think what's going to end up happening is it's going to be Alpha's going to be saying it, and she's going to say it to somebody else. Maybe Aaron. She's going to make her point a different way. She's going to make her point like the comic. Either she's going to say something close to it when they're sitting on the rooftop looking at the swarm of walkers, or her point will be made just like when she says, "This is the border you don't cross," just like in the comic.
I don't know. The way they're going now, I almost wonder if they skip the head piking altogether.
I don't think they're
going like it's going to be too graphic for TV.
It might be, but I mean, it shows them infiltrating, so she's still going to infiltrate. So something's still going to happen once she infiltrates to show them how truly unprepared they are for them. Because that was her whole point. She made 2 points there. How easy was it for her just to mosey on in and take them and set up a boundary fence? I still think she's going to do something relatively close to that. I bet you they still do it. I bet you it won't be too graphic for TV. They're still going to do it.
I just remember just the reaction of reading that issue when they reveal all the heads on the pikes, and you're like, oh, fuck, man. Like, they just wiped out half the group we know.
Yep.
But half the group we know has been wiped out by stupid shit. It's...
And now the other half is going to.
It was more impactful because I can't remember how many people said. I think it was like 6 people died. But the big ones were... I mean, I'm sure the big ones still stay. I'm sure it'll still be... I'm sure it'll still be Rosita and Ezekiel. But Maggie's not there anymore. Rick's not there anymore. Jesus isn't there anymore. Like, Maggie just disappeared. Maggie just disappeared. Rick's fucking flying away in a helicopter. Jesus is... I don't know. Part of me starting to think they're going to change it, and they're going to change the Whisper War because they just had an all-out war, and I don't know if they're going to try and do so many wars. So part of me is gonna change it. But and that's the other thing is, like, now what's Negan's driving force? the driving force for Negan to kill Alpha was to get Rick to trust him. So Negan took it upon himself to go behead and try to join Alpha and behead Alpha. That's when Rick found Negan. If I believe that correctly, if I remember it, isn't that when Rick finds the boundary is when they're tracking Negan?
Yeah.
Because he gets out?
So the only two big people that get piked from are Rosita and Ezekiel. Everybody else is it was Ken, Amber, and it was another dude, Tammy, one other person, another lady, and then it was Ezekiel, Rosita, and one more dude. That was everybody that was on the pike.
So I bet you it's going to be Ezekiel, Rosita, the bow and arrow chick that just left with Carol. And
that's issue 144 of The Walking Dead.
But that's like, but I was saying Negan's whole reasoning for what he's doing is to try and get Rick to trust him. So he goes and he kills Alpha and cuts their head off and brings it back to Rick, which is what starts the Whisper War. So Negan has no driving force for that. Rick's not here anymore. So do they skip the Whisper War?
I don't think they will.
Do they skip right over the Whisper War and it's just...
Why would they do that if they're setting up the Whispers? That doesn't even make sense.
Why? He kills Alpha, and then they have the conflict with Beta out in the woods.
It's gonna be something else that starts it.
They kill Beta.
It's gonna be something else, because why would they bring the Whispers not to have the war with them? They're just gonna be milling about. It's just an episode filler.
It's a cool bad guy that it's something that the audience that doesn't read the comics isn't expecting. They've never seen before. It's a new conflict for the group. It doesn't necessarily have to lead to a war. There's a way that they can do it without the Whisper War. Really, what was so impactful about the Whisper War? If you think back about the comic storyline, what was so impactful about it? From what I remember, there's nothing in that war that couldn't be hit with, without taking away big parts of it. You don't have to have that entire conflict to have what happens happen. Negan kills Alpha, Beta comes and attacks and tries to kill them, and they kill Beta, and then the rest of them are gone. Like, it doesn't need to be a giant season-long conflict.
I don't think it's going to be the way they're playing this. I don't think it's going to be.
I don't see the Whispers being done by the end of the season. I don't see the whole thing, the conflict being resolved by the end of the season.
I think what's going to end up happening with this, it's going to be a secondary storyline. It's going to be something that's kind of going on while other stuff's going on. So they're going to go away from it, then they'll come back to it. They're going to go away from it, they're going to come back to it. The Whispers are going to finish out this season. But I think what it's going to be, it'll be a secondary thing, something that kind of pops up as a filler.
I think that honestly, I think the season's going to end with Negan bringing Alpha's head back to somebody. And
you mean Beta?
Or no, it's going to be Alpha's. It's going to end with Negan bringing Alpha's head back, and whoever's in charge, Carol, maybe.
I bet she brings it back to Michonne.
Or Michonne. Either way, he's going to bring the head back to somebody and lay it down, and that's going to be the end of the season. That's going to be your last shot of the season. And then the season 10 is going to be the Whisper Wars for the first half, and then the second half will be them moving on to the Commonwealth. But even though it's like the Commonwealth storyline, it's been kind of slow. Like, there's stuff going on, but it's been kind of slow moving.
All Kirkman stories are slow moving.
I don't know Oh, this is like the first. It's at a weird transition. Maybe he brings it back to Judith. Who knows?
I don't know, but I thought this was a good episode.
I feel like there's a lot of questions that still remain unanswered. But
I think they'll be answered. I don't think they're going to remain unanswered.
No, I think they'll be answered in the second half of season 2. But I was saying right now it's kind of at like a turning point where if you're going by the comic, relying on the comic, you're like, oh shit, where are they going now? But they're also kind of keeping up with the comic, They've got certain story points that are still coming true, but certain things that aren't.
So let me get this straight. They're going to kind of do what they always do with The Walking Dead. They're going to do their own thing, but have comic book parts in it.
Well, like, yeah, but it's not like I don't know. I'm just annoyed that they're changing things just for the sake of doing it. Like, why? I understand giving storylines to other people after somebody's dead. I understand taking it out to change someone's storyline that way. But why are you going to change someone who's still alive storyline? You've spent all this time setting it up to be here, and then all of a sudden you're going to be like, well, now we're going to have this change and we're going to have that change. So we're going to give Father Gabriel, a character who, for all intents and purposes, is a piece of shit and should be dead. Because Morgan's gone, so now we're going to have Gabriel be the moral compass. And
I think they're doing it because they're going to kill Eugene. It's going to be Eugene's head.
But Eugene still, I don't know. Eugene's the smart guy. Like, he's the one that makes the most sense to be able to get the radio working and talking to people and all that. Like, it doesn't make sense for it to be Gabriel, but who knows? I want to see Gabriel die on the water tower.
I think another smart guy is going to show up.
You think so? Do you think he's going to replace Eugene with another smart guy?
Yep.
Fucking Neil Patrick Harris comes in as Doogie Howser.
Yep. New smart guy just shows up.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Hey, you're a pretty smart dude.
You're a pretty smart guy. You're going to take the place of Eugene.
And then Eugene's just dead next fucking about 10 minutes later.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just don't know.
Max doesn't like it either.
No, he doesn't. Max disagrees.
He disagrees 100%.
I don't know.
I think it's going to be Michonne that's going to be playing more of this like Rick role, though.
He might be taking more of that Rick role.
Who's him?
Or her, sorry. I don't know, man. Something deep down inside of me doesn't want to believe that Jesus is dead. But
he might not
be. Is. Maybe he is. Like I said, when you're watching the episode live, it doesn't look like that the stab is devastating as it does
because he stabs him and then because he didn't have like a little pocket knife or nothing. He had a big ass knife and he drives it in and then he drives it in further.
Yeah, and then you're where you don't belong. But
which see. The thing that kind of gets me about this, okay, it's been years and years and years that they've been The Walking Dead, and they're still finding places they've never been.
Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, because you got to think about how far can they really travel with what they have.
It's years. They got horses. They're always looking for supplies and stuff. They had just the fact that they still find. I don't know. It's just funny to me. It kind of hit me this episode.
Well, yeah. They've kind of established that earlier in the season where they were like, we need to be moving further out. Rick kind of says, that. I believe.
Yeah, but it's been a time jump. It's been years. Out. They've had to have gone further out. It's been years.
Who knows?
You think? And the other thing I think of too is, man, they've been killing zombies for years, and there's still shitloads of them. The numbers never go down.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't think that. You got to think how many people are in the world,
But you got to think if you're in one little area, man, you've been killing them for, I mean, what was it, a 6-year time jump? They've been killing them for years. Still shitloads of them.
Moving around, man.
I think they would start getting sparse.
Maybe instead of evolving, the zombies are also reproducing.
But I don't know. I thought about that this episode. I was like, they're still finding places.
They're reproducing.
Zombie sex.
Yep, that's right. You got it.
Yikes.
Zombie babies. They're having zombie babies.
That is crazy that they killed Jesus. It was unexpected.
Zombie births.
Yuck. I don't know. I think that just makes me laugh every time I think about it. It was this episode though, like when they got to that shed thing, it's always like a new place. I don't know. How the fuck they keep finding places? You think they'd you thinking, I don't know. I would say if they went out 4 miles in each direction, they would have pretty much found everything just from scavenging. I don't know. That's just me. Maybe someone's not doing their job if they're still finding places.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. You don't go out that far. Well, a lot of their stuff right now is
they went super far to get a fucking wagon.
You know, that's their whole thing now is trying to be self-sustaining, so they don't have to adventure out as much.
Yeah, but to get to that point, they did a lot of exploring. I don't know. That's just what I think.
I don't know, but I think we've pretty much covered everything, don't you?
Yeah, I think so.
But so yeah, let us know in the comment section down below. What do you think? Jesus dead, not dead? Do you think they're duping us like they did with Glenn, or do you think this is actually the end of Jesus? Let us know in the comments below. This will be the last episode of Deliberating the Dead until the show returns in 2019. So
see you guys in February.
Yeah, we will be back in February. So if you like the show and you're listening to it on YouTube, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment and like and hit that notification bell so that way when we go live in February and come back, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about this show. You'll get the notification that we are live and ready to go once again. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcasting platform, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. It helps us in the podcasting standings. And so, yeah, for this episode of Deliberating the Dead, I'm Matt.
I'm Kyle.
And we will see you in February. Did they announce what day in February yet?
I don't remember.
Okay. Kyle doesn't remember. So we'll see you in February when Kyle remembers.